all eyes are on Trump's criminal cases in Washington, where Jack Smith was back in court today. In fact, seated in the front row, scoring a victory on procedure and timing, as well as all eyes on, well, Atlanta, where indicted Trump White House veteran Mark Meadows took the stand this very afternoon, making his bid to move that trial for him out of the state court system. Indeed, those two big hearings came as another January 6th case also held a hearing in the federal courthouse in Washington today, Trump White House veteran Peter Navarro. Now, that's a lot going down in one day. Both Navarro's hearing and the Jack Smith hearing took place in the exact same courthouse where defendant Trump was arraigned. And we have more on the Navarro news later this hour. The hearing in special counsel Smith case, well, that ended with some news. The judge rebuffing defendant Trump's hope for a 2026 trial and ruling on a fast schedule. The trial date is now set. This is the first time we're reporting this. March 4th, 2024, a win for Jack Smith's team. It's within about 2 months of their request. It came after a top Smith prosecutor told the court today that the defendant, formerly the senior most official in our federal government, is accused of historic crimes. And thus, there's an incredibly strong public interest in a jury's prompt and full consideration of those claims in open court. Now, the judge said trial dates do not and never, quote, depend on a defendant's professional obligations. Mr. Trump will have to make the date work regardless of his schedule. She also added that a trial for, say, a professional athlete, in that case, it would be inappropriate to schedule a trial date to accommodate her schedule. The same is true here. And defendant Trump is also a candidate with an eye on January voting and Super Tuesday in March. This trial process now begins with jury selection one day before that key date on his professional calendar, to use the judge's language. Now, tonight we're reporting from Washington, given all of these developments. In fact, I attended today's hearing along with other reporters and lawyers, including DOJ veteran Glenn Kirshner. And here's a quick part of our reaction. This was just a few hours ago as we walked out of that courtroom immediately after the hearing.
We have a March 4th trial date, 2024. Judge Chutkan made it clear that jury selection will start on that day. Needless to say, the defense counsel, the defense team, was not happy with that.
But yeah, that was significantly earlier than the Trump's team wanted.
And it's interesting, Ari, because Judge Chutkan kept pushing the defense team to give her something, give her a counter proposal to the April 2026 trial date that they had proposed, because she said that's not going to happen. The defense stood its ground. They refused to give any kind of a counter proposal. Now they got what they got, which is a speedy trial.
So again, that means Trump trial is set to be one day before Super Tuesday, and the headlines are already coming in, smack dab in the middle of what will be the scheduled primary season. Now, back in court, this hearing also featured some clashes which may show where this case is headed. So I'm going to walk through this right now with you. Donald Trump's lead defense attorney, John Lauro, gave such a fiery set of remarks today that the judge told him to actually, quote, lower the temperature at one point. And he provided some sweeping rhetoric at times. He said, quote, Trump is not above the law, but he's not below the law either, and argued that special counsel Jack Smith's schedule would be a show trial, not a speedy trial. Now, beyond the trial date, Lauro previewed a roadmap of attacks that he says should get the case tossed, previewing motions to argue that the court may not even have jurisdiction over this case because DOJ has essentially indicted President Trump for being President Trump and faithfully executing the laws. The defense lawyer arguing we're going to have a very unique and extensive motion that deals with executive immunity. Now, this was important here because what we're showing you is basically what they're going to do in defense of Donald Trump in this coup case. And what we witnessed today is one of the most significant times a Trump lawyer has taken Donald Trump's many and fairly well-known attacks on the Bidens, on President Biden's link to Merrick Garland, who he did appoint, and tried to fuse this today into kind of a legal strategy. Lauro noting that the DOJ is overseen by President Biden and even citing the Hunter Biden controversies. He's previewing in court today a, quote, selective prosecution motion because this prosecution provides an advantage to these prosecutors' boss who's running a political campaign against President Trump, Lauro told the judge, and added the motion will go directly to the core of the criticisms that Mr. Trump made historically against President Biden and his son, and whether or not this, meaning the Jack Smith prosecution, is a, quote, retaliatory action as a result of that. Now, let me tell you, you don't hear that every day in what is a trial scheduling hearing. But this is important, and I want to walk through it with you because we learned a lot in this hearing today. These defense lawyers have every right to challenge the prosecutor's approach or potential fairness and to make arguments which invoke defendant Trump's status as a former president and a current candidate. They may argue that that is relevant. But today, it's also worth noting that the more sweeping arguments by Trump's lawyers fell flat with the judge. I'm not saying that as an opinion or a prediction. I'm just telling you what actually happened, because today we saw the rubber hit the road. That same lawyer claimed any trial before 2026 would become a, quote, show trial. And that's an argument you can make. But it failed because they lost. And the trial, as of today, we're reporting, is scheduled for March 24. And that goes to something larger here. Hearings like this, as we move past the arraignment stage, they will matter to how these trials proceed. Today's hearing and its ruling really against what the Trump team wanted is a clear reminder this forum is not Twitter. It's not a political arena. It's not some primary debate that this defendant or candidate can skip on some whim. This is a binding forum where, as Trump's own lawyer said in court today, the defendant's liberty and life is at stake. It is a forum where lawyers can say words like President Biden's son, or selective prosecution, or witch hunt. They can say those words. But there are rules for when those claims can even be presented to the jury, let alone weighed or considered credible evidence. As the hearing continued, it looked like Special Counsel Smith would get most of the timeline that his team requested. He really sat pretty silently in the front row, as he has at other court proceedings and Trump's arraignments. We have some of those past sketches up on the screen right now. I could tell you, because we were down there reporting, as I showed you, I was seated about 7 feet behind Jack Smith. He sat sternly and fairly emotionless in the front row, a notebook in his lap at times. Indeed, the only time when Smith appeared to register any reaction was when he nodded in agreement, as the judge said that defendant Trump has broad rights to receive helpful evidence in his defense from the DOJ to what they call exculpatory material. Otherwise, Mr. Smith revealed almost nothing. Now, that level of restraint is not a legal requirement. We have seen prosecutors and special counsels speak more or emote more, still within the rules. But this is how Jack Smith has long approached his work. He doesn't emote much. He doesn't take questions in public. And if there is any speaking to do, well, he gathers the evidence and tends to file a speaking indictment. Today, we witnessed one of the first momentous hearings since that speaking indictment, where the federal government that Trump once ran presented him as a defendant in a case over staging a coup to overthrow that government's democracy. Even when we watch these various proceedings and bookings and arraignments, it's still kind of surreal when we say out loud what this is. And that is what this is. The defendant is presumed innocent. The defendant has rights. But the defendant lost a round today to try to kick this thing down the road.